People think self-development or energy work is about positive thinking or quick fixes, as we said, but it's way deeper than that. It's about changing your biology, rewiring your brain, shifting your emotions, creating neural pathways that literally reshape who you are. It's messy. It takes time. It means confronting those hardwired thought patterns and emotions in yourself.
Welcome to today's podcast episode. I invited Sue Bromley to join me after experiencing her Change Your Mind, Create New Results workshop that was created by Dr. Joe Dispenza. This workshop gave me simple science-backed tools to shift my thinking, feelings, and actions. And this helped me get better results in my life. I noticed changes almost immediately. In today's episode, Sue is going to share with you these same tools. She'll teach you how to become more aware of your thoughts and how to change them to create the life you want. Sue is South Australia's only certified Neuro Change Solutions consultant, personally trained by Dr. Joe Dispenza. She will explain the power of mental rehearsal, the science behind breaking habits, and practical ways to let go of limiting beliefs. These tools will help you identify and change your thoughts and their patterns that may keep you stuck in life. We all know we can't change others and only change ourselves, and this is what this episode will teach you through useful tips so that you can create the life you desire. Personally, after recording and listening to this episode again, I've started mentally rehearsing myself doing more chin-ups, and just the other day, I was able to push myself and get one more rep than usual. So this stuff works. Welcome, Sue. So excited to have you on the podcast.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. I'm very excited to be here.
Let's get right into it. What does it mean to change your mind and create new results?
Well, your personality creates your personal reality. So that means your life, your results, your circumstances, they're all created by how you think, how you act, and how you feel. So if you want to change your life, you've got to change your personality, right? Nothing changes until you change. But here's the catch. Most people try to change their life, staying the same person with the same thoughts, the same emotional reactions, the same habits, and they wonder why nothing shifts. To really create new results, you have to become someone new. You have to think differently. You have to show up differently. You have to feel your way into a new future and change your energy. Change your energy, change your life, as Dr. Joe would say. That's what it means to change your mind. That's when your life starts changing with it. Yeah. So if you change, your life changes.
Well, I've had the experience where I was attracting the same sort of friend.
Yes.
Everywhere. And even though I'm like, I'm going to change friends, get a new one, change the next one. And she would be exactly the same, right. Would want to party, go out, wasn't interested. And I'm like, no, I want someone that wants to study. This was back in uni days. That wants to study, a bit more career orientated. And it wasn't until I changed my thinking that I was able to change.
Yeah. And that's what Dr. Joe says all the time. What is it about me that has to change for that to change? That's how we change our circumstances and our results and our life, is by changing what it is about us. Where are we thinking, acting and feeling in the ways that are not aligned to what we want?
So how do we change our personality?
It's a big one, isn't it? Yeah. So what we teach in this work is that it's a daily practice. As you learnt in the course that you did, in my last course that we delivered retreat style, you've got to rehearse a new way of being. If you're not being defined by a vision of the future, you're going to be left with the memories of the past, because our brain is a record of the past. And as soon as we wake up and remember who we are and remember all our circumstances and problems, we're in the past. That's just going to go on repeat. If we don't get up and journal, how do I no longer want to think, act and feel? Write it down. Write it down. And then how do I want to think, act and feel? And then rehearse that new way of being. Rehearse it so you install the hardware in your brain to look like it's already happened. How do I want to act in this situation? Rehearse that. Mental rehearsal is a scientifically proven thing. When you mentally rehearse something, you prime your brain to look like it's already happened. If you remember the piano player experiment where they changed their brain.
Do you want to go through that piano player experiment?
Yeah, well,
that's so powerful.
It is powerful. So they had 3 different groups of people, and they taught them all a one-handed piano sequence. They trained for 2 hours a day for 5 days. So there was the physical group who physically did touch the keys and physically rehearsed it. Then there was the mental rehearsal group that did not touch a key. All they did was mentally rehearse that one-handed piano sequence for 2 hours a day for 5 days. And then, of course, there was a control group that didn't do anything. When they did the measurements, the mental rehearsal group had exactly or almost exactly the same changes in their brain as the people who physically did it. So they had changed their brain just by thought alone. And that's how powerful our minds are, how we can mentally rehearse. That's how Michael Jordan became the best basketballer in the world. He mentally rehearsed, watched his videos, and then mentally rehearsed every single shot on the field. And there's many other famous people that will say they rehearsed and visualised. That's how we change our mind. We mentally rehearse how we're going to be. What thoughts don't belong in my future anymore?
I love that. That question's powerful. How do I want to do, act and feel? And it's quite common. We hear of sports people, as you say, mentally rehearsing. And when I did that retreat, your retreat back in June, I never thought that actually I can mentally rehearse my life. Have I got someone that triggers me in my life or situations? I remember with my boss, I was like, okay, she does trigger me. And then I sat down and I wrote down, how do I want to respond to her? How do I want to act? How do I want to feel? And when I started thinking about that, and then my next encounter with her, it was completely different. So we think it's okay in the sporting world, but we can do that with anything.
Yeah, that's right. And little increments of changing how you're responding, how you're feeling, how you're showing up, changes your whole energy, doesn't it? And then that's when the magic happens, isn't it? That's when you start seeing the synchronicities. That's when you start seeing the coincidences. And when you see those things, it inspires you to keep going, doesn't it?
Definitely.
And then you think, I'm not going to miss a day of this because I want to create my life. I want to be the creator of my life, not the victim of it.
I noticed when I was doing the courses, I thought I was changing the way that I thought, or I thought I was changing how it was, but it just really gave that new perspective. And by asking how do I want to act, I realised, hold on, I was giving my power to my boss, wanting her to be different.
Yes.
Whereas if I came and I was different and my thoughts about her were different, which allowed the whole relationship to change.
Yes, like the saying, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. Your personal reality actually does change when you change.
100%. So how did you get into this work and what drew you to Dr. Joe Dispenza's teaching specifically?
Yeah, I think I've always been someone who believes in the unlimited potential within all of us, and that we don't tap it. We don't live as fully as we could. Someone told me about him actually. So I started looking into him, and I really like the way his work demystifies the whole process and really gives you a practical step-by-step. Do this, then do that, and do this. It's actionable, it's practical, it leaves no one behind. Anyone can do it and anyone can see results. You don't have to be some guru or have meditated for 40 years. It's so practical and actionable. I was, a workshop facilitator at the time, going into businesses, delivering a course that I developed with a colleague. But then I came across his work and realised I could teach it, and I thought, it's just powerful work. It's groundbreaking work, actually.
Yeah. I found with Dr. Joe's work, it's really step by step. Then do this, and they gave tools and tips.
That's right.
I'd done lots of personal development courses before it, done Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, many of them. Whereas when it came to Dr. Joe's, it was like it just brought that all together in a simple format.
Yes, in a simple format, that's what I like. I like the simplicity of it.
Was there like a defining moment that changed you with Dr. Joe's work, or you went, I want to teach this to others, I want to help others?
I think it was just when I went to a week long and saw that you could actually teach it, and I was already a workshop facilitator. I thought, that's what I want to do. I didn't even know you could. I think it was the third sort of in-person event of Dr. Joe's I went to, and saw an NCS table there, which stands for Neurotrain Solution, which is the training arm of Dr. Joe's work. And I saw the NCS table there and I thought, what's this about? And then I thought, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Dr. Joe says our personality creates our personal reality. So how we think, act and feel becomes who we are. Could you break that down a little bit further for us?
So when Dr. Joe says our personality creates our personality, he means that the way we think, act and feel every day, which is your personality is made up of how you think, how you act and how you feel. Our habits of mind and emotion literally shape what we experience. If you're constantly stressed, for instance, reactive or thinking in lack, that becomes your personal reality. Your life starts to reflect that and you start to see that everywhere. That's what you see and experience, and it is your reality.
I know many of us run on stress, or we're always going, especially having kids and family, go. How can we take a step back to identify that that's our reality, and then what steps are there that we can do to change it?
The first thing is awareness, really. We have all the machinery, as you learned in the course. Yeah, we have the ability, because of the size of our frontal lobe in relation to the rest of our brain, we can become aware of how we're thinking, acting and feeling. And that's what we teach, is how to become aware of those things in the moment as well as in your meditation. And so, because we get caught up, don't we? We get caught up in habits and then we're just on autopilot. So we get caught up in when we're thinking the same things, when we're acting the same way, when we're feeling the same way, this becomes a program. And science tells us that by the time we're 35 years of age, 95% of who we are, by the time we're 35, is a set of unconscious programs, automatic reactions, habits, perceptions, beliefs. So this is why we get caught up, and it's so hard to break away from that, because you've got to recondition the body to a new mind. If 95% is stored in the subconscious, you're going to have to go into the operating system and rewrite those programs. And like we said, rehearse a new way of being and think about what you don't want to think about anymore, what you've been thinking about, and does it serve you? And then do that in your meditation. Look at your feelings that keep you connected to the past. And are they going to take you to the future you want to create? If they don't, then rehearse those feelings or feel those feelings in your meditation and recondition the body to a new mind so that you don't go unconscious and back into a program in your waking day.
I loved when we were in the course and you asked us, how do we open a door handle? Actually, everyone listening, try it. Think, how do you open the door handle? And I remember I put my hand out there and I turned and it was like, I go to the right. That's just a habit that I never thought about. Yeah. And then there's been door handles that turn to the left and that throws me. But that's just an example of something that we do every day. And we need those.
Yeah, of course, we need those programs that serve us, right, that are efficient, how to drive a car, how to brush our teeth. We don't want to have to think about that every day. But what about the ones that are not? You don't want to be on autopilot with everything, right? And that was crossing the river of change. What things are we going to leave behind? What things are we not going to take with us that are not going to be part of our future? Work out what those automatic programs are, become aware of them, and then recondition the body to a new mind, to a new emotion, so that that'll be the new voice. You do that often enough. You do that every day. And this is it. It's not an easy process, but how much do you want it? How much do you want to create your life and instead of being the victim of it?
Yeah. It's the small changes.
That's right.
So there's the big life changing when you've had enough with something, or you go from not having kids to having kids. You got to adapt and change. But it's what are those small thoughts that you're thinking? Right. Like I know, using my boss again as an example, it was those thoughts that I didn't even realise that I was thinking, and I'd already set my expectations with her. Yes. So how can I change it? And now I look at thoughts with other people, challenges,
Yes.
and I go, oh, okay, I'm actually thinking that. So I've taken the responsibility and I'm
Right.
able to have deeper and better connections
Yeah, wow.
with others.
And then your reality changes, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Are they really that small, actually? I mean, because what does science tell us? We think 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day, and 90% of them are the same as the day before.
Let's say that again.
60 to 70,000 thoughts we have in a day, and 90% of them are the same as the day before.
So if we think 70,000 thoughts, now what's my maths? So 63,000 thoughts that we have are exactly the same as the day before.
That's why it's so hard to change, because we are on autopilot. We've subconsciously conditioned our thoughts, our actions, which become our habits, and our feelings to be set and to be on autopilot. So that's why we have to go in and work out, okay, which ones are okay to be on autopilot, which ones are working for me, which ones aren't, and let's nut it out. How many people do that? How many people sit there, and Dr. Joe says this is when people leave the dinner table, when they've got to do something. They want to go to an event and get transformed. But if you go back into your life and you're the same person, your life will not be transformed. You have to change if you want to transform your life. You have to change from within.
It's that mental rehearsal again. Like we accept that you can mentally rehearse for a sports event,
Yes.
for a party. We practice
That's right.
to give presentations.
Yeah.
But what about just practicing how we're going to show up with our kids, how we're
Yeah.
going to show up with our partner,
That's right.
friends?
Yeah.
We don't mentally rehearse
No,
that.
we don't. That's right. At first, it might seem like hard work, going in there and journaling and then playing the meditation and rehearsing. I mean, it's a guided meditation, so it's not that hard work, is it? Did you find it hard work?
Yeah, so for everyone's benefit, after doing the 3-day course, we got a 30-day meditation that would sit there and do there every day. And it took about half an hour, and it was fantastic. It was amazing watching the transformation from day 1 to day 30. So day
Yes.
1, a lot of it was my past thoughts
Yes.
that I didn't even know that I was having, and it was my old
Correct.
stories, and then I was changing how I wanted to think. There's questions, so I was answering them. And then as I got to day 30 and now day 30 plus, I'm actually thinking about the future. Where do I want to go? Where do I want to be? And that clarity,
Right.
the future, and even showing little things with my kids, with my husband. I'm a lot more present. Had my in-laws here recently, and it was just different. And I had my father-in-law, who's quite quiet, talking so much, and I'm like, it has to be me, because I knew to ask him better questions, because I was focused on, I really want them to have a good experience. I really
Yes.
want to learn what their life was like.
Yes, right. Wow. Yeah. And that's in just 30 days. Imagine doing that every day and creating your life. Michael Jordan would have started somewhere, right? It would have been discipline and daily practice. What you practice, you get good at.
So let's practice our life.
That's right.
Let's see if we can connect it to some real life examples.
Yeah.
So here at D8 in the gym, we hear things like, I don't have time, I can't afford it, or my body just doesn't respond like it used to. If someone's stuck in these thought patterns, how can they start creating new neuroconnections and literally change their brain?
So those thoughts, I don't have time, I can't afford it, my body doesn't respond, they aren't facts, they're beliefs. And a belief is just a thought you keep thinking over and over again until it becomes hardwired in your brain, and you then accept, believe and surrender to it as the truth, right? And the more you repeat them, the more your brain hardwires them into your identity. So to break that loop, you have to become aware of the thought as it's happening, catch it in the act, and then consciously choose another thought. Remember the change tool? Consciously choose a new thought, even if it feels unfamiliar at first, like I'm making time, my body is changing every day. And then feel the energy of that. That will be a more uplifting feeling, which will give you a leg up. Every time you do that, you're firing and wiring new neural pathways. You're literally installing new hardware in your brain. With enough repetition, this hardware becomes a software program, and now there's a new voice in your head that says, I'm making time, my body does respond, etc.
So something like that, I don't have time for the gym, catching that thought, and then going, okay, I do have time. How can I make time?
Yes.
And keep asking that and repeating it over and over to myself so that I can create a new connection.
That's right.
And a new belief.
Yeah, that's right. Because as soon as you ask that open-ended question like you just asked, how can I make time? Your brain will go looking for the answers. And then, like the CEO, the frontal lobe is the CEO, it'll piece together, according to the information that's stored in your brain, all that information and create a new image, a new possibility. So that's what we're capable of. This is what I love about this work, is showing you how powerful you are, that what you do have inside of you.
We recently bought an MG. Never noticed MGs. We decided that we were going to buy one, and I feel like every second person drives an MG.
That's right.
Because I see them everywhere because it's in my RAS.
Yeah, what do they call it? Focus pocus. Because what you focus on is what grows. So, yeah, managing your attention and, focusing on the things you want in your life, not the things you don't.
Because the mind, with the I don't have time, the mind will be like, how can I have the time? Then they'll start looking and giving you the answers on where you can make time.
Correct. That's right. It'll answer the question for you.
So when we do try to change our lives, as I mentioned, I kept attracting the same sort of friend over and over again till I actually changed. What's the consequences of that?
Most people try to change the outside. They change like you did. Went and got a new friend. But the job, the partner, the diet, without changing inside, right? The thoughts, the emotions and identity. But if you're still being the same person with the same state of being, you'll just recreate the same life in a new setting. It's like moving furniture around in a burning house. The consequence is frustration, self-sabotage, feeling like nothing ever really changes. Or you feel good for a while, like when you meet a partner and they call it the honeymoon period. That we all know that doesn't last, right? And then it wears off. Real lasting change doesn't happen from the outside in. It happens from the inside out.
So what are the biggest obstacles people face when they try to change? What's the hardest part about this transformation?
Yeah, the hardest part of change is not making the same choices you did the day before. Because the moment you go to make a different choice, watch out. It's going to feel uncomfortable. Why? Because the body, which has become the mind, right? They're on autopilot. It's become the mind. It's memorized those thoughts, emotions, and habits, and it's stepping from the known, which is those habits, to the unknown, and that's a very uncomfortable place for the body. Why is it an uncomfortable place? Because the body's wired for survival, and the unknown's a dangerous place because you can't predict outcomes there. Is that a lion or is it a shadow? So that's when you'll hear those voices. So the body wants to retreat back to the known. It wants to retreat back to safety. So that's when you hear those voices. I'll start the gym tomorrow. I'm too busy. And if you believe those thoughts to be true, if you don't catch them and you believe them to be true, you'll just revert back and you won't cross that river. But if you keep going, if you push past, change those thoughts, push past, that's when you're stepping into the river of change.
So as you mentioned, it is uncomfortable, it's hard, you almost need to push past it. There's that inner conflict. It's almost like a tantrum. I find for a kid's tantrum, it gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you have any tips or hacks on how we can push past that uncomfortable?
I think it's realising when those voices come up, realising that that's just a program. It's just a program. Seeing it for what it is. When you see it for what it is, then you're not it. You've stepped out of the program. Now you're the observer looking at the program. And that's when it becomes easier to make a different choice. That's when you do have choice, when you're out of the program. When you're in the program, you don't have choice. You're unconscious, we could say. Unconsciousness is being in a program. You're just running on autopilot. You're not conscious of your programs or of your habits and all those thoughts and emotions. But once you step out of it, then you have choice and you can go, okay, I'm going to have a different thought about this and a different feeling, and I'm going to choose differently. And that's my tip for pushing past.
It's almost like if we're sitting there, we all have the same experience. Someone makes a flippant comment. I can be like, oh, whatever, that's just them. They always make comments like that.
Yes.
The person next to me could get angry about it.
Yes.
And the third person could laugh about it.
Yes.
We all heard the same comment, but we've all had different reactions.
All different reactions, exactly.
So we can't change that person that made that flippant comment. It's, okay, what do I need to change so I don't get angry about it all?
That's right.
So being in the gym, I thought it would be good if you can help maybe work through a few examples that we can change the way that we think and feel. Dr. Joe talks about being greater than our environment, our body, and time. Could you explain what being greater than our environment, body, and time means?
Being greater than your environment is like, if you're thinking equal to everything that's in your environment and you believe that, then all you're doing is reflecting back. Every great person in history knew how to do this. Nelson Mandela, he had to think greater. He had to see himself. If you're not being defined by a vision of the future, then you're just reflecting back your environment. How does your environment keep you the same? When you unplug from your environment in your meditation, that's how you become greater than it in your meditation, by unplugging and not hearing those noises in your environment. How do you become greater than your body? You become greater than your body by sitting it down, and when it wants to get up, you say, no, stay. So you're training the body and telling the body that you're no longer the mind, I'm the mind, right? So you'll sit here, I'll feed you, but right now you're not the mind, I'm the mind. And then you're getting beyond time because you're transcending time. You're not thinking about your past or your future, your familiar past or your predictable future that your habits take you into. You're settling your body down into the present moment, and therefore you're being greater than time. So you're becoming the master of your life by not being triggered by your environment, by thinking greater than that and feeling greater than that. That's what we practice in meditation, is being greater than our environment, our body and time, so that when we're in the real world, we can do that. We can be that. We can be that person that can be greater than those programs.
I love that example of Nelson Mandela, because he was in prison for so long, yet even though he was in that prison, he was able to think big and better and then create what he's now created.
Yeah, that's right. And what was his words just before he left the prison? If I take bitterness with me, I'll still be in prison, or something. I'm paraphrasing here. Mm-hmm. So he knew how to be the master of his own thoughts, his feelings and his environment and his body and its drives and habits. That's what we all can be, though. It's not just great people. We can be the master of our own lives.
I love that, master of our lives. So let's use a few examples in the gym. So we'll start with the environment.
Okay.
So let's talk about someone that starts strong at the gym. Then they drop off at around week 4 because something has happened. It's cold, they got sick, there is only one class time and not another one they can make it. What's likely happening beneath their surface?
When someone starts strong and then drops off around week 4, it's usually because their environment and internal programming are not aligned yet. You have to be greater than your environment. Beneath the surface, their brain and body are still wired to the old habits. And so when one small disruption happens, cold weather, illness, scheduling, their old pattern takes over. It's like their autopilot kicks back in and says, back to safety. But real change requires rewiring the brain and body so the new behaviour feels natural, even when life throws curveballs. And then it's just part of who you are. It's your new state of being. You're no longer that person anymore, because without that, it's easy to slip back into the familiar.
Yeah. So what's something when someone notices I never stick to it, something always happens, like it's cold or they get sick, how can they rewire it? Like, what's a tool that they can use to go, no, I'm going to keep going? Because something like the gym, we want everyone to come to D8, but there's so many options. It can be the gym, it can be Pilates, it can be boxing. They can do whatever they like. So, and they can, I'm sure there's a time that suits them.
I mean, changing those thoughts in the moment. When clients say, I'm too old, I'll never be fit like them, they're stuck in a self-limiting story, a belief wired deep in their brain and body To shift that, they need to rewrite the story. And that means telling a new story and believing in it. That means focusing on what is possible and not what should or can't be. Encourage them to visualize themselves stronger, healthier, moving better, feel that new version of themselves emotionally and physically. Repetition of this new identity rewires the brain and reshapes their self-belief.
It's almost sitting there, or whether it be on the couch or meditating, taking that time and going, okay, I'm just going to visualize myself going how I feel good afterwards.
Absolutely.
And just believing that they're that person.
That's right. And feeling it. Because we remember things more when there's a strong, high emotional quotient attached to it, right? That's a classic example is 9/11. Everyone could tell you where they were. So when you're in your meditation, you want a high emotional quotient so that you remember it, so you remember your future.
Yeah.
And that high emotional quotient has got to be higher in strength than the memories of your past, because otherwise they'll keep coming back up. So that's how we rewrite it.
So really sitting there and really feeling it, being that person that goes there and then going, making sure taking the right action.
That's right. It's a clear intention with an elevated emotion is the formula, so that new emotion is higher than the emotional quotient of your old programs. So that's how you override it.
And I like that 9/11 example. Even, there could be some people too young to hear, when Princess Diana died, I remember that moment exactly because my mum was crying as she picked me up from the musical that I was doing.
Yeah, I do too. I remember exactly where I was as well. So it gets branded in your brain. The thing is, you can brand things you want in there too. Because the same formula.
The brain doesn't know the difference between what's reality and what's not.
That's right. To the body, it's all the same. The brain and body, it's all the same. An emotion you're feeling from a real live event or something you're imaging, it believes it's there.
To get bigger than my environment, I need to start imagining a nice mansion on the beach in warm weather.
Right, that's right.
All right, let's say someone's plateaued in their gym work. And when I say someone, I'm referring to myself, as I've reached 4 to 5 chin-ups, maybe sometimes 6, but I can't seem to go past that.
Right.
And I feel like I'm doing everything right. I'm exercising, focusing on it, but nothing's shifting. How would you help someone unlock there and get them to the next level?
So when you plateau physically, despite doing everything right, it often means the inner programming hasn't caught up with the outer effort. My work helps you change the invisible first, rewiring limiting beliefs, releasing stuck emotions, shifting your energetic state. When your brain and body align to a new identity, for example, I am someone who breaks through plateaus, your physical results should follow. It's all about being the cause, not the effect.
I see other women my age and they can get 10 chin-ups, they can even get more. So what I need to start doing is thinking and feeling that. Is that right?
Yes, yeah. Visualize yourself, feel it in your mental rehearsal that you're someone who breaks through, does not get stuck in plateaus, does not plateau. You can go beyond your plateaus. You're someone who breaks through plateaus. If that's your new belief, you'll do it. And if you mentally rehearse it, it'll become easier in your waking day to do that.
And what about just in general? Is there a simple hack or practice someone can use to disrupt old thoughts and step into a new ways of thinking, choosing and acting?
Yeah, I think the simplest hack is awareness. Catch the old thought as it's happening. Don't let it run on autopilot. Mm-hmm. It's not an easy thing to do to catch those thoughts, but if you manage your attention properly and you don't go unconscious in your waking day, and then once you spot it, take a deep breath, a breath in for the count of 5 and out for the count of 5. And then you've caused a pattern interrupt. And then choose a new thought, because then you have got choice. You've expanded that gap between what happens and your thoughts about it. And then back that up with a small action that supports that thought. It's like hitting the reset button on your brain. Do this consistently and you'll start to rewire your mind for new results.
So just catching it, taking a deep breath in for 5 seconds, out for 5 seconds, and then rethinking a new thought.
That's right. Changing it in the moment.
The other one that I like that you taught that I use is stop it. In about a month's time, I'm going to an event, and at this event, there's a person that probably just makes me nervous and uncomfortable. We've just got an uneasy tension between us. I was sitting there, and often I was thinking, hey, this is going to happen with this person, or what about if this happens? And I was making these stories up in my mind, and I used that stop it tool, like stop it, and then started asking myself, how do I want it to be, and mentally rehearsing it. So when I got to that situation, I was a lot more calmer, and it was like nothing had happened. And we were able to say hello, and I didn't have that uneasiness that I normally have.
It's being consistent, isn't it? Consistency is the key. As you know, in the gym, it's the same.
Oh, exactly the same. I wish I could do one workout and be fit for the rest of my life.
That's right.
Or outsource it. Can you do the workout for me and I get the muscles?
That's right, exactly.
So what daily practices do you personally use to stay grounded, energized, and in a state of creation?
I won't say every day, but most days I start my day with meditation. And often I do journaling as well, if I really want to work on some thoughts especially and feelings. I mentally rehearse the person I want to be and the life I'm creating, and feeling those emotions as if you're already there, because your body believes it is there. So that's reconditioning your body to a new way of being. And energise, well, movement's the key to that, as you know. So whether it's yoga, working out to keep my energy flowing and body connected.
And I'm just going to interject here. Everyone look at the photos of Sue, and I want you to take a guess on how old you think she is, because when I found out her age, I couldn't believe it. What's your secret to staying young?
I think it's your thoughts. I do. I think it's the way you think. But also, of course, it's to do with what you eat and sleep. Sleep's a big one, isn't it? I mean, you know, I think I've always been a health nut, always been known as a health nut. And I love it. I love being healthy. I feel good. And it affects everything. And you would know this from having a gym, that how much better you feel when you have worked out. When you, you push yourself there sometimes. The hardest part's just getting there, isn't it?
100%.
And then I think every time I walk out of the gym, I say to myself, that's the best thing I do for myself. I think it's everything all together. But certainly staying fit, it gives you a leg up in life, I think.
Definitely. Yeah. And I do agree with the mind. You can work out, but if your mindset's not right.
I think the mind is upstream of the body. It sort of starts there, but it's all connected. It's all one, really, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
What's something most people misunderstand about personal development or mindset work, energy work?
Yeah, I think most people think self-development or energy work is about positive thinking or quick fixes, as we said. But it's way deeper than that. It's about changing your biology, rewiring your brain, shifting your emotions, creating neural pathways that literally reshape who you are. It's messy. It takes time. It means confronting those hardwired thought patterns and emotions in yourself. The real magic happens when you commit to inside work consistently, not just chasing the next feel-good moment or the next guru or next shiny thing. It's about getting serious and committed.
And it's ongoing, as you said. And I feel like I overcome and I improve one aspect of my life, and then I get to the next level, and then it's like, oh, okay, there's something else. Yeah. It's never ending.
There's always more, isn't there? Always more.
There isn't a better satisfaction that I get that when I look back and something that used to affect me maybe 3-4 years ago, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't affect me.
Right.
I've changed because of all the steps I've put into play. What's the most powerful transformation you've seen in someone?
I think the most powerful transformation I've seen is when someone moves from feeling powerless and stuck to feeling fully embodying their true potential. You know, they shift from reacting to life circumstances to consciously creating their reality. And I see that all the time. I remember a woman who struggled with chronic illness and deep self-doubt. And through daily commitment to rewiring her brain and emotions, she not only healed physically but stepped into a new career, new relationships, new sense of joy. That's the real power of this work, becoming the cause, not the effect.
As I've mentioned, I did this course, your course, back in the June long weekend, and it's fantastic. And I think everyone should do this course. I want to send Nevin on to the next one. When is your next course?
5th, 6th and 7th of September at Natunga Henley Beach.
So if you can get there, it's a 3-day course. And then you've got the retreat again next year.
Yeah, I'm going to do that again because that was fantastic. That was really good. The doing it retreat style had another level of energy about it again. It was really good, and everybody really, really bonded, didn't they?
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
There was 10, 11 of us, and we just opened up so much, and you could see the shifts and the changes in people there.
Just in that weekend even, couldn't you? Yeah.
And I can see they're friends for life. I might not see them for 5 years, but I know that if I ever bump into them again, we've just always got this special connection.
Yeah, for sure.
And if they want to follow your work, where can they find you, connect, work with you?
You can find me at suebromley.com.au. I have a lot of information there about the work, blogs and events coming up, including Meditation Mondays I hold every fortnight, also at Natunga Henley Beach. We just play Dr. Joe's meditations, and there's a little bit of teaching about it, because when you know what you're doing and why, it becomes more powerful, the meditation. So I usually play the instructions that Dr. Joe has, and sometimes we play some video from progressive and intensive workshops so people know what they're doing and why they're doing it. I had someone last week actually who said that the week before, when we played Tuning Into New Potentials, and I don't know if you know that meditation, but you pick two things, one big one and then a smaller one, because the smaller ones usually manifest quicker because you've got a lighter touch on those. And her smaller one was she had some knee pain that she thought, I better go to the chiropractor about this because it's just ongoing, won't go away. And she said she had that on the smaller one, and she said that night it had gone, but even the next day and a fortnight later, because they're every fortnight, I said, has it returned? She said, no, it hasn't. So she had gone into a meditation with an intention for the healing of her knee, and it healed. I thought, wow, that's amazing.
I love stories like that.
Yeah, I love it too. Yeah. We have those every fortnight. So you could follow me on Eventbrite too if you click follow on my Eventbrite. Actually, currently it's on the City of Charles Sturt's Eventbrite. So you would just have to maybe Google for now, but in a month's time it'll transition onto my Eventbrite. But it's also on my website as well. But,
I'll add it all to the show notes. I'll put the link to the website, and from the website where the meditations are, they can click in and follow the event there.
Fabulous. Maybe
we might have to get you to D8 and run a few meditations.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
right.
have like a monthly meditation here.
Yeah, wouldn't that be good?
It'd be great. And so what final advice would you give to someone who feels stuck, whether it's in the gym or life, or just in their own mind?
If you feel stuck, whether it's in the gym, your life, or in your mind, know this, you're not broken. You're just running an old program. It doesn't serve you anymore. The key is to become aware of those patterns without judgment, and then just choose differently, even in the smallest ways. Change doesn't happen overnight, but every new thought, every new action rewires that brain just a little bit more. Stay curious, be patient, and remember, you have the power to create. In fact, you're always creating, but you can make creation a conscious process instead of an unconscious process.
I love that. It's really up to us. We have the power to change our lives. We do. Lucky last question. So at D8 training, our motto is dominate.
Love it.
What does dominate mean to you?
To me, dominate means mastery. Mastery is memorising an internal order so that nothing in your external environment can move you from it. No person, no thing, event or experience can change this internal state of being. And that's when you become the creator of your life. And that, to me, is what dominate means.
I love that mastery. Because, again, it's that control of our own life.
Yeah.
Sue, this was amazing. I got quite a few notes, and I'm looking forward to re-listening to it again. But I love the mental rehearsal bit, actually rehearsing what we want in our life, how we want a situation. It can even be with our kids.
Yes.
The breathing, really stopping and acknowledging our thoughts. Thank you. You're so generous with your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Anne-Marie, for having me.
Wow, I got so much value from today's episode. I hope you did too. My 3 biggest takeaways were: 1, The power of mental rehearsal in achieving your goals. It's like practicing in your mind before you do something in real life, like I've been doing with my chin-ups. 2, I learned that I need to be bigger than my environment, my body, and time, and use my mind to get the results I want. It's all about controlling what's inside of me. And lastly, I realized that changing our beliefs isn't just a one-time thing. We need to keep working on it every day with practice to create real change. I highly recommend doing Sue's courses. I've put the details in the show notes. She has one this September and another planned for June next year. Sue is constantly running these workshops, so check them out and see if you can find one that works for you. And if you know someone who would benefit from hearing Sue's practical tips, maybe someone who keeps having the same complaints to you, please share this episode with them. It can really help them push past it. And if you enjoyed the show, please don't forget to subscribe on Apple or Spotify and leave a 5-star review. It helps us reach more listeners and bring on more incredible guests like Sue. Until next time, dominate your life.